G'day, y'all. Welcome to the Science and Spirit of Happy podcast, where we think outside the box. Outside the boxes of spiritualism and science. Outside of the boxes of different cultures and times. We dive deep into the real heart, the truth of what makes people happy. I'm your host, Laura Lee Bowers, and I have an unlikely combination of expertise. I studied years to become a master energy healer in Eastern spiritualism and philosophy. I've also dedicated years of my life to become an academic researcher in the field of human happiness. One of the most interesting things I found in my research were many of the deep-seated kind of capital T truths that I have found in the pursuit of, enlightenment or wholeness in Eastern and ancient philosophies were right there, glaring me in the face in the science. And when I discovered that, I dedicated all of my time and my focus and my energy towards connecting the dots between the science and the spirit of happiness. Now, I am not a psychologist, which you should probably be happy about. Not that psychology isn't amazing, and not that a whole heap of my research isn't totally indebted to the field of psychology, but they've slowed after essentially hitting a wall in the 80s or 90s. And while the science of psychology is totally apt to divulge what makes us happy, we're at a real loss as to how to achieve it. So I actually study what I like to call applied happiness theory. So I have 2 degrees, one in English literature and one in political science. And that might make you wonder, how the heck does that make me have any kind of expertise in human happiness? Well, I'll tell you, literature depicts distinctly what captures our minds, our hearts, our imaginations, what inspires us. And not just now, but across time, across cultures, literature, what we consume, what we write about. It spells out, quite literally, everything we care about. And politics, our legal systems, our modes of governance. This illustrates how our values are actually organized, how we apply the things that we deem most important, how we express the lives that we wish to live, what systems work for our fulfillment and what systems don't. And we can study these across the globe. I've also lived on 4 out of 5 habitable continents in 9 different countries. Plus, I've traveled extensively through 8 more. The whole time I was studying and watching, exploring, observing, and even experimenting on myself, what different cultures get right in the pursuit of happiness, and what we often, historically and in present day, get wrong. One major facet I find that both the scientific and spiritual pursuit of happiness kind of lacks is the how. And no matter how often I read and how much information I took in, how much I was tutored, how much I studied, how much I aimed to learn about happiness under the guise of all these different terms, self-actualization or enlightenment. There always seemed to be this missing element of, but how? How do I do these things? So as I slowly accumulated knowledge and experiences and experimented on myself and mentoring other people, I started putting together the pieces of a strategy, a step by step way to pursue happiness in health, in relationships, in finances, in any area that you can possibly dream of. And after 6 years of working in the mentorship field, mentoring thousands of students, I can tell you that the sustainable dreams theory works. This is not your average happiness podcast, and I am not your average host. I am Laura Bowers, and this is the science and spirit of happy, where I'm going to walk you through what it actually takes to create the vibrant health, the loving relationships, and even the career success or the financial abundance that you crave. And if that wasn't enough, the icing on this cake certainly is that for the overwhelming majority of people, my strategy is actually easier to do than staying the same. If you are interested in what I've personally overcome, I implore you to listen to my first podcast episode where I'm going to dive into my story. And especially if you are doubting that the place that you are at right now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically in this world is too far from what you would consider personally ideal to actually achieve that this lifetime, I suggest strongly that you go and listen to that podcast episode, because I can say with confidence that no matter where you came from, no matter what you're going through, no matter the kinds of challenges that you are personally facing, you can be happy. And it can be easy. And I am looking so forward to showing you exactly how. So go on, get into the first podcast already.